Good morning and welcome. Let's do AM News now. And the Bono East Regional Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party, David Boakye, says all arrangements to ensure a smooth National Delegates Conference have been made. 35 delegates will vote in Saturday's exercise in the Bono East region. And Asabet has more in this report.
Who leads the New Patriotic Party in the 2024 presidential elections enters the home stretch as the party holds its Super Delegates Conference on Saturday to reduce the number of aspirants from 10 to 5. Here in the Bono East region, a total of 35 delegates are expected to cast their ballots at the Kojo Social Center in Bamri, a suburb of Techiman. Regional Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, David Boakye, says all arrangements are set to ensure the exercise is held peacefully.
Bono East has 34 delegates, but 35 people are going to vote in the region because we have had one transfer. That somebody has transferred the votes. In all, nationwide, we have 7 transfers. Ashanti had the highest of 3, then 4 other regions having 1 each. Bono East has 1. We do not have a proxy votes, but we have 1 transfer. So in all, we will be 35 people voting at Kojo Social Center, Bamri, that is Techiman. National Council took a decision that all the elections must be held at the regional capitals. So ours is being held in Techiman here, Bamri Social Center. All arrangements are set. All our delegates so far are available.
He noted that the party is solely relying on the Ghana Police Service for security and no internal party security will be entertained.
Let me say this. We don't have arrangement for any internal security there. Completely, everything is for the police to take over. We are only 34. And the one person joining us to make us 35. I don't think any of us, because if you look at the category of delegates, all the 17 regional officers, 11 constituency chairmen, 3 members of parliament, 1 surviving founding father, 1 national council rep, and the regional minister. So we don't see anything so special that will make us need a security that will be out of control.
He again appealed to the delegates to abide by the laid down rules and regulations governing the polls to ensure that the process is held smoothly.
I'm just pleading with the party people that when you get there and you are not a delegate, even if you are a delegate, we have to go by the instructions of the security. As I said, tomorrow we are going there to know how they are going to set up. So we'll know the level where supporters will reach, the level of media, then where the delegates can go.
Those expected to cast their ballots on Saturday include members of the National Council and National and Regional Executive Committees, members of Parliament, and 3 representatives from each of the special organs of the party, that is the youth, women, and Nasara. The rest are national officers, 3 representatives from each branch. Founding members during the registration of the party at the Electoral Commission, all card-bearing ministers. Reporting for JoyNews, Anas Sabit, Techiman.
Now, Commissioner of the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Siraj Joseph Wetal, is optimistic the passage of the law that criminalizes accusations of witchcraft, practice of witch finders, and witch doctors will stop the practice. He's been engaging with stakeholders in the Nanumba South municipality of the Northern region. Martina Bugri reports.
Held at the Regional Coordinating Directorate in the capital, Nairgu, the meeting was attended by representatives from the Traditional Authority and some selected public institutions, among other participants. It was organized by the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice as part of its efforts to educate the local population about the new Witchcraft Bill passed by Parliament, a bill sponsored by Medina MP Francis Xavier Sosu and 5 of his colleagues seeks to protect elderly women accused of witchcraft, making it a crime to abuse them or send them away from their communities. The Commissioner of Siraj Joseph Wetal, in his remarks, explained to the participants the concept of the new bill, its purposes and sanctions for those who will fall foul. He described the witchcraft menace as dehumanizing and pleaded with the residents to
incumbent upon all of us to know how we speak, how we take advantage of poor elderly women, stigmatizing them, because it is only, at that time, it was always left with maybe the chiefs who are to determine that, the punishment. Now the state has taken control. And so even the chiefs themselves will have a problem if they do or they continue with any practice.
A bill, after several years of delays, was finally passed by Parliament on July 27th, pending the authorization of President Nana Akufo-Addo to make it a law. Meanwhile, whilst the President is yet to sign the bill, witchcraft-related attacks have continued across the region. The Commissioner said it was unacceptable the delay by the President to sign the bill, and that if he fails to do so by the end of this month, his title or recognition as a human rights defender ought to be redefined.
For me, if the President, who is a human rights defender, a rule of law advocate, delays more than 1 month in signing this bill, which has already delayed so long in passing, then we need to redefine whether he's actually a human rights defender. Because how long does it take to sign? It shouldn't. So the 1 month, because it was passed on the 27th July. Today is 21st. We have 22nd. We have 5 more days to a month. I would say that's unacceptable, given the problem that we are confronted with over the years.
During the discussion, some of the participants, particularly members of the traditional authorities, staged a pushback.
It will be difficult for some West to erase the idea that witchcraft does not exist or the practice does not exist. I don't know whether some of you understand the language we did say. I would have shown you a video, so that you hear what somebody says. If it is passed, if the president should sign it, then there will be a lot of silent killing in the villages.
We within the urban centers may be following this law, but at the rural areas, they will lynch them in silence and they will not even who have done ABCD.
From the meeting, the Shraj Commissioner also paid a visit to the Gambaga Resettlement Home, where he interacted with and presented a huge donation of foodstuff to the inmates on behalf of the French Embassy.
We will come back on the law, but today is to let you know that some donors have heard your cry and have decided that we should bring some support to you. This support is from the French Embassy in Ghana.
He assured the inmates that measures were in place and being pursued to ensure their permanent liberation and freedom.
The food, the screening that we intend to host, and the soap and all those things that we will be presenting today.
Now to other stories, Deputy Minister for Transport, Frederick Obeng-Adom, is asking Ghanaians to embrace the national electric vehicle policy so that Ghana does not become a dumping site for fossil fuel cars. He notes that transportation of people, goods and services makes the transport sector the net emitter of greenhouse gases, hence the need to adopt the policy. Rafi Salam reports.
Ghana has developed a draft on electric vehicle policy to guide the development and upscale of electric vehicles in the country to decarbonize the transport sector. The development will enable the country to achieve net zero carbon dioxide emission by 2070. The consultative meeting took place in the one municipality of the Upper West region to collate ideas from citizens and stakeholders which will help build e-vehicles policy for the country. The meeting brought together heads of department, security services, transport operators, motor mechanics, spare part dealers, persons living with disability, Ghana Association of Drivers, and some civil society organizations. The Deputy Minister for Transport, Frederick Obeng-Adom, noted that the whole world is evolving to a new trend of electric vehicles, hence the reason for the consultative meeting.
The world is moving at a more safer, a more benign alternative to having petrol, fossil fuel, that is petrol and then diesel. So the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy under the auspices of the senior minister is having this, the senior advisor of the president is having this electric vehicle policy that will help the country be able to have this policy that will guide the electric vehicles as they come in. We would also realize that this electric vehicle is already in the system, and if it's in the system, we need to have certain guidelines that will be able to guide the whole process.
He added that the transport sector is a net emitter of greenhouse gases in the country.
As you even move from your homes to this place, you use cars, and these cars, transportation of people, transportation of goods and services, makes the transport sector a net emitter of greenhouse gases. So what do we have to do as Ministry of Transport, as a country? What we have to do is to find a much more safer alternative, as I said earlier, that will be helpful to the health of you and I, and to the help of the whole citizenry. So we wouldn't want to be always emitting greenhouse gases into the air, but we want to find ways and curb all these activities of greenhouse gases.
Our Power Regional Minister, Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, in a speech read on his behalf by his personal assistant political, Abdurrahman Megoro, underscored the importance of the e-vehicle as it will help mitigate climate change.
This gathering marks a significant step in our journey towards sustainable and environmental conscious transportation solutions. Your presence today underscores your commitment to shaping a greener, more progressive future for our region and our nation.
Now, persons with disability in Ghana are faced with social and financial challenges. 13-year-old Kelvin Prince Mensah is among the thousands of the physically challenged individuals surviving Ghana's stressed economy. He tells the story of how his family struggles to cater for his needs, including settling his bills after he was hit by an articulated truck 8 years ago. There's more in this report.
In 2015, Kelvin had only obliged his teacher's directive to go home for his school bills. But he would meet a life-changing moment on his way back to school after not meeting her guardian to take his fees.
My teacher asked me to go home for my fees from my mother. On my way, I was knocked down by a car, so they amputated my leg when after I was destroyed.
Both of his lower limbs were amputated. Life has since been difficult for him and his family.
My uncle used to support me, but now it's only my mother. She's a petty trader. They find it challenging to pay my fees. I'm a good student.
School there, school there, me but school fees no I say mo me ba betu amam. E ba exam senior dia eno dia me yere mo pa.
Kelvin traveled 50 kilometers from Ofenso with his colleagues at the Physically Challenged Action Foundation to benefit from a philanthropy in Kumasi. They are among the hundreds of incapacitated individuals who throng the Kumasi Cultural Center to receive from Precious Life Center. The philanthropic group donated items worth $35,000, including a number of walking aids, wheelchairs, utensils, groceries, and clothing. Akosia Yeboah is leader of the group.
I can't stand looking at them on the roadside. If I don't go, probably I'll
my whole money to them. So my goal is not just giving them wheelchairs and walkers and food. I'm planning to open up a facility, a center, and if you can see our name, Precious Life Center, and that's what we do in the United States. Open up a center in Ghana so that we can provide them work, job trainings, so that they can be able to take care of themselves.
She wants the government to institute pragmatic policies to ensure the well-being of persons living with disabilities.
I believe that the government will touch them more. There is a lack of support. I don't know what the government, the politics, I don't know what they are doing. I hope someone will be elected that will look at that side of disability, because where I'm coming from in the United States, they are special. You can't touch them. You will never see them on the roadside begging or crawling on the roadside. They take care of them. So I'm just praying that the government will see that side and support them, especially para lifting in stadium. They have a group there. They don't have any support at all.
The wheelchair will help me easily move around.
For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku.
Well, the governing council of the Anlo State in the Volta region has promised an exciting and re-energized Hobo Festival this year. With a new planning committee in charge, the annual festival has seen the introduction of some new activities expected to serve revelers unforgettable experiences. Speaking at the launch of the 2023 edition of the Hobo Festival in Keta Duto, Chogwiga Wenya III extended an invitation to the whole world to witness the indigenous culture and tradition of their laws.
The Hobo Festival is celebrated to commemorate the exodus of the Dogbo Eris, now known as Anglos, from Nochie in Togo to their present settlement in southern Ghana. The name of the festival translates as the Festival of Exodus, or coming from Hobo, and has since its inception formed a core of the history and heritage of the people of Anglo. It is annually celebrated to exhibit the unity, resilience and deep-rooted culture of the Anglos, and also give platform to showcase the tourism potential of the area. Speaking at the launch of the 2023 edition of the Hobo Festival, His Royal Majesty Juto Togbigan Venya III promised revelers and indigents an exciting celebration.
This year's Hobo Festival is having a new face, so it's a new branding. It's not what we used to witness. And so you see that we have unveiled a new logo, and that marks a new beginning, the injection of new energy into the celebration. And we are calling for development. And so we are inviting everybody all over Ghana and abroad to come and witness the cultural, the richness of the culture of the Anglo people. And then we are also calling for support in terms of finance, so that there are a number of development projects we want to undertake. Some are in progress, and which we need to complete, like the community center projects. And then the Hobo Park itself, we also need an astroturf to make it beautiful.
A food bazaar, chiefs conference, women empowerment conference, and a legal clinic are some of the new activities that have been injected into the annual festival celebrations.
Another takeaway for this year's Hobo Festival is the food bazaar that we want to organize. What it means is that we are going to showcase the Anglo kitchen. Of course, without missing words, Anglo kitchen is the richest in the whole of West Africa, if not Africa as a whole. Because if you take one produce like corn, you can do about 45 dishes from this corn. And that is how rich Anglo kitchen is. If you're talking about sauces, soups, gravies, and the rest, you cannot mention the number.
I also do have a favorite thing that I want to do, which is the Miss Anglo. Miss Anglo is thrown out to all the 36 states. So we're going to have a beautiful beauty pageant.
His Royal Majesty Togbigan Venya III used the medium to clear the air on the leadership roles of the Anglo state.
The hierarchy of Anglo kingship is there, it's established from the beginning. Dr. Tobika Panya, the first, was the one who established the kingdom and was the first king. And when the nephew came to join him, of course, he also was enthroned later after the death of the first as the Awomafia. And so when the white people took over the reign along the slave coast, which this place is designated from Elmina all the way to Dahomey, was designated as the slave coast. And so they introduced the paramountcies. So they made him a paramount chief. And so a paramount chief as an administrative head. But then there's a customary overlord, that is Dutobanya the first, on whose lap he must be enthroned.
This year's Ogbechuchuzan would span between the 27th of October 2023 and the 5th of November 2023. The festival, which will be celebrated on the theme Anglo, Arise in Unity for Progress and Development, is expected to attract people from across the globe. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Qatar.
And that's how we wrap up the bulletin for today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Up next is the news review on the AM show.